Hey guys, so I'm headed to a friend's house. Her wife recently fell down the stairs and was rushed to the emergency room, so I'm gonna go check in on them and see how they're doing. On top of that, they've been wanting to do an estate plan for a really long time and they've just been procrastinating. And after this incident, I asked her, how you doing? Have you changed your mind about this estate plan, or have you decided to move forward with it? And she shared that was really something she thought of, not immediately. Calling 911 was the immediate response, but after things settled down for a little while, she reflected and was thinking, yes, this is exactly what I needed. But she was procrastinating for a while. So what I'm going to go do is I'm going to take you guys along for the visit, and we're going to pick her brain. We're going to find out why she's waited so long, and maybe I can help answer everyone's questions. All right, so I'll talk to you in a little bit. Hey guys, so I made it to my friends Lauren and Teresa's house, and they actually just recently got back from the doctor and was giving me an update on how Teresa's doing, and it's not so good. So Lauren's actually holding the phone because I can't figure out how to switch the cameras mid-video, so she's going to hand me over the phone and she's going to answer all my questions. So, hi. Tell me how the doctor went, Lauren. Say hi, Lauren.
Yes.
So tell me how the doctor went.
So, Teresa's got a break in a few different places on the ball joint of her shoulder. So she has one at the neck of the bone, and then she has the two sides of the actual ball are broken off. So the doctor wants her to heal for the next 2 weeks and pretty much do not much of anything, which is not too hard for her to do given that it's her right arm anyway, which is her dominant hand. So she is kind of doing nothing for 2 weeks, then we'll go back, and at that point they'll determine whether or not she's going to just start doing physical therapy and see how it goes, or if she might have to have replacement of the whole shoulder joint itself.
Oh man. I mean, Lauren told me this before I started recording, and it just doesn't get any easier to digest the second time you're telling me. So, a long while ago, we talked about you getting an estate plan, right? And you wanted to do it, right?
Yep.
And why? Why did you want?
Because we want our kids to be taken care of, and we want their lives to be easier if something were to happen to us, or even as we get old and, when the time does eventually come, that it's easy for them and they aren't left with a big mess. Those are pretty much the main reasons.
And you know what? Actually, going back to the night that she did fall down the stairs, right? You had to take her to the emergency room, and you had to find someone to take care of the kids. Unfortunately, you had...
Thankfully, I have great neighbors, and so they were able to come and take the kids, and so that was good.
Right.
Then we ended up, then I have to go to the emergency room, and then I'm sitting there signing my name to forms for Teresa and trying to remember what, the EMT was asking what meds she was on and this and that, and... I had to go into the cabinet to look, and
right.
I don't think I told them everything.
Yeah, so it was pretty scary.
Yeah.
So, all right, so after we talked about you getting an estate plan, I went ahead and I think I emailed you.
Yep, I got the form. I started filling
it out.
Fillable
PDF, right?
Yep.
So you didn't even have to print it out. You could.
I started filling it out, and then I got overwhelmed with the questions, because some of the questions I didn't know the answers to, because I didn't know what we wanted. We didn't know what we wanted to do. It was both of us together and trying to determine, what are we going to do with this, or what are we going to do with that, or who's going to take the kids, or this or that. And so then it was, I don't know, we don't know what to say, we don't know how to answer it. So then I just kind of put it aside, and then I couldn't find it.
So you misplaced the paperwork.
Yes.
So with all those difficult questions, at no point did you say, hey, Cynthia,
No.
I'm having a difficult time figuring this out. Can you help me?
No.
Why not?
I don't know. Because I didn't know how you'd be able to help me, because you couldn't be like, oh, well, give the kids to this person or do this with this, because, you don't know what's in my head. So,
right.
Or even in Teresa's head. And the other thing was, honestly, Teresa and I having the time to sit down and actually discuss this when one of us wasn't exhausted or cranky was kind of challenging too.
Right. But now that this has happened,
It's true.
right, it was kind of like a wake
Yeah,
up
like,
call.
hello, we really should probably put this stuff together.
So now are we gonna sit down and do it?
Yes, we're gonna sit down and do it.
Bother her. I'm interviewing your mom
For what?
for an estate plan. Do you know what an estate plan is? No. It's a plan that kind of determines what happens in an emergency situation, like when Mimi fell down the stairs. Like knowing, who to call. Like knowing what neighbor to call. So if Mimi was here and say a friend and not mom, and Mimi couldn't get the folder, access that information, whoever was here would need to know what to do. And if you had an estate plan, or like more specific, like part of my estate plan includes like an emergency situation. It's like a protection plan and like an immediate emergency plan. And then there would be a folder where all that information would be, and so it would make it easy. But anyway, I've lost her. She walked away.
She just wanted the chips.
Yeah, she wanted. Oh, except I took them. All right, so now, she wants cake. So now that this has happened, you're all geared up.
Yes, now we're gonna put it together
Ready to die.
because it needs to be done.
And now you know that meeting with me
Would
and
probably
figuring,
be helpful.
yeah, and like figuring something out.
Yes, would be a good idea.
So,
And now we have an excessive amount of time to do that.
right, exactly. But I wouldn't I wouldn't recommend creating a plan during a stressful situation, right? Because the more you, like, as we all know, the more days any spouse stays home.
Yes, right, Teresa?
Right?
I think she's half awake.
Yeah. So the more days any spouse stays home, both become increasingly
other.
agitated.
Yes.
And it's harder to make decisions without
Without
anger and
somebody getting
frustration.
annoyed.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's true.
All right, so what advice do you have to give anybody else who is thinking about an estate plan and is going through those roadblocks that you went through?
Do it as soon as you can, because you don't want to end up where you're like scrambling trying to figure out what the answers are to something, especially when you're already stressed out.
Right, because that was like extremely stressful for you,
Yeah.
right? I hate that you had to go through it.
Yeah, it sucked. It sucked for me, but it sucked more for Teresa.
Right. Right. All right, so I'm going to disconnect and I'm going to follow up with like some suggestions to some of Lauren and Teresa's concerns. Okay,
Cool.
bye. Thank you, Lauren.
You're very welcome.
How do you edit that?
Hi, so I'm back home now, and what Lauren had shared with us about her hesitations and difficulties with creating an estate plan is not uncommon for people. It's definitely not an unusual thing. A lot of people get overwhelmed by the questions in the intake form, and basically by the decisions they have to make. Now, Lauren identified that the difficulty in making those decisions and having the time to do it. But having the lack of time just isn't a good enough excuse. We really do, us as parents, we have to take the time out to put plans in place to secure our family's future and to basically protect them from government interference and from really it's pretty traumatizing when a government comes in and decides what is best for your children. Now, practicing in the child protection court, I get to see that firsthand, and I represent some children, and I get to see that firsthand, what it does to the kids, and it really isn't great. So finding the time is really essential, and it's really important. I mean, we do so much with our kids. We take them to all these extracurricular activities because we want to enrich their lives and we want to give them everything that we can. So why not take the time out to secure this for them? Now, another one of her anxiety with regards to creating an estate plan was who to choose as a guardian. And she hadn't taken the time out to express those concerns to me. Now, Lauren definitely does not have limited access to me. She actually, when I had the tonsillectomy, she came over every day to make sure I was okay. My husband had to go back to work right away. Lauren works part-time, so she was available to come over and make sure I was all right and help with my medicine because I had to take it every 4 hours. And, you know, it was definitely a difficult recovery, and I relied on her to help me. And I really appreciated that. So we're very close. She doesn't have limited access to me. I could have assisted her in making those decisions at any time, but like she said, she wasn't sure how I would be able to help her. And I could help her. I could help her by sharing with her that any decision you make is better than no decision. So if she selects anyone that she finds to be fairly compassionate, responsible, and competent, then she should set that down. And she should write that. Back. So I was a little distracted just 2 seconds ago. My 11-year-old lost a tooth, and I don't know if you saw in the background the door opening, so he was coming in to tell me that he lost a tooth. So what I was saying was that Lauren was having difficulty deciding who to pick as a short-term guardian and a long-term guardian for her children. Now, that's clearly a difficult decision. I had a difficult time selecting that as well. But any decision is better than no decision and having the state come in and decide for you. When you start your estate plan, there's certain checkpoints in the process where you have the opportunity to look over your decisions and make corrections and adjustments along the way. So you after just fill out the form, and then we'll get the ball rolling. And if you change your mind in a little, at that first checkpoint, then we can update it. And then again, I mean, obviously at the end we have to finalize it. And you have to complete your estate plan. It's not good to keep dragging it out. You really do want a finished product. But to not start because you're unsure about your decision, that's not necessary at all. You can just start it, and then when we reach those checkpoints, review it and make corrections as we go along. So I think it was very informative, and I really do appreciate Lauren taking the time out to let me interview her, and I hope that you all learned something from this, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.